Hi, welcome to another episode of the Ambient Mellotron here on the Ambient iPad. Let's make some music. For this video, I'm going to use the Violin Solo sound from the Mellotron M400 sound library. The signal chain is the Mellotron M4000D Mini. Its analog mono output goes into a Focusrite Scarlett 18i8 interface, which communicates back and forth with the iPad Pro through a USB-C hub, which also enables me to power the iPad Pro at the same time. So we're going to use the Violin Solo from the Mellotron M400 sound library. Now, even though with the original Mellotron, with the modern Mellotron, each individual key represents the note. It was recorded separately. You get all the different idiosyncrasies of the player with those individual notes. And some instruments sound more real than others. The violin, I mean, it definitely sounds real. It's just sometimes it just sounds a little wonky. Certainly not as wonky as guitars. I haven't even gotten to that yet in the Mellotron, but those are really interesting. All right, let's open up a new project. All the same settings we always use. Go to Fun, because that's where the clean setting is. Never ceases to humor me. And, whoops. I add a Mellotron icon for no other reason than they have one, so why not? The other thing I need to do is, because the GarageBand defaults to 8 bars and it loops that, but it's not overdubbing. If you get to the end of bar 8, it'll go back to bar 1. It'll erase whatever you had there, whether it's audio or whether it's MIDI, and it'll record the new thing. It'll keep doing that over and over again, erasing, recording, erasing. So the way around that is just to go into section length and turn it to automatic. So as it's recording along, it'll just keep adding bars as you're recording. Tempo and time signature, don't need to worry about any of that. Well, before we get into effects, let's turn monitoring on, and this is the mono clean sound that is Violin Solo. So, sounds fairly real. I'm playing in I'm not going to the extremes here on each side of the keyboard. All right, let's add some effects. A little bit of GarageBand compression. Just evens everything out, raises the volume slightly. For effects, it's really straightforward. Delete Effect EQ. And I'm going to use AudioReverb again. I want like a stage sound, not too big, not too small, so certainly not as big as I have been using. And one of the patches I found that does give a nice stage sound is Jazz Hall. Let's hear that. I like the reverb settings. The modulation is unnecessary. It's just the dry wet needs to go down from the 80%. Typically I go down to 70% for audio reverb, but in this case, because I do want the sound to be even a little smaller, we're going to go down to 60%, and that sounds like this. So not a lot of reverb, not too much, just makes the sound breathe a little. And I'll use Spatializer. Where are you? Whoops. We don't want that. That was interesting. Oh, because I hit this. Okay, now I gotta start over again. Okay, we're back where we were. Let me make sure this sound is still here. All right. I was going to add Spatializer. Don't know if I'm going to use it, but we'll try it out. Spatializer. I got some new effects in here. I just bought these last couple of weeks on sale. Haven't even tried them yet. Couldn't even tell you the name. It was on 99 cents, and it's a group of a bunch of effects. Use that in a future video. All right, for Spatializer, front and back, I do want the amount to go down, but first, let's just compare the sounds. This is with the reverb, no Spatializer. So I've gone over before, the sound is really mono, the reverb is in stereo, so you can kind of hear that. Let's add Spatializer front and back. just spreads the sound out a little more across the stereo field. Still sounds like a mono sound, but it's just a little bit more stereo. Faux stereo. Let's go down, though. That was 62. Let's go to 50. It sounded pretty good the way it is, but I really want it to be subtle. So here we go. And then off. So that's really mono, and this is still mono, but gives a little bit of a stereo effect. Don't want to go overboard. Again, this is violin sound. I think for the music aspect of it, when I hear a violin, you know, I think of two different spectrums. I think of fusion, like Jean-Luc Ponty. That is not going to happen, so I'm not doing anything fusion. The other thing is I'm a big fan of electric folk, British electric folk, such as Fairport Convention. So just like I'm not going to do Jean-Luc Ponty, I'm not doing Dave Swarbrick, but I kind of think in a Fairport Convention mode, kind of like a reel, a jig, an air. Man, why don't we use that? Let me try to construct a head here. I'll do a head, soloing a head. So go down. Now let's change it, but I do want to go down. We'll go from E to D to C. And then for the C, let's change it up. Now I have to end it with something. Again, I'm just like thinking in a Fairport mode. Let's see if I can do that. Maybe up. So the first part we descended at the end, maybe we'll ascend for this one. Was that G? Yeah. And then maybe I'll just go back into this. Well, for doing Fairport, so that's the Coda from Matty Groves, traditional tune. That is a separate tune, another traditional kind of jig reel. I don't know what the name of it is. I'll try to look it up and put it in the description. But yeah, I could go right into that. And then so come out like that in solo. That's an interesting note. I mean, obviously it's the violin, it was recorded, it's just, I don't know if it's the way that it's being played, or how it was recorded, but it almost sounds like a chime on top. Actually reminds me of King Crimson. Lark's Tongues and Aspic Part I. Huh. Maybe I'll weave that in somehow. Well, you know what? If we're going to take a left turn and do Crimson, then the one thing I do know, some lines from Fracture. So I'd have to get to F, I think. Okay, interesting. So we can do like a mashup of Fairport Convention and King Crimson. King Convention, King Fairport, Fairport Crimson, Fairport King? No, King Fairport? I don't know, some combination of that. I don't know. I'll just jam, improv, and if I get near one of those, I'll see if it'll fit in. So again, pretty basic. I do want the violin sound to come through, but like I'm on a stage or some kind of open space, but not too big. Spatializer just almost like just to capture some echoes off walls. So it does open it up a little bit. And I'll just improv here and start with that head. I think that head will work. Go into that Fairport bit, the traditional Matty Groves Coda, jam a little, and if we can come upon those Crimson lines, maybe I'll work those in. So clearly not very ambient. So, but still the ambient Mellotron. Let's see. Trying to mix them up a little here. And I kind of pick the sound, so, I'm going to do violin, or actually the alto sax. Those ones have been posted too, one of them. I do have another in mind. And then I do the jam around the sound. I don't come up with an idea and say, let's try this sound. So it's playing around with the sound, and then, how would that sound fit in? And the violin... Now, granted, I could use a really huge reverb with the violin solo, and maybe I will in a future video. And I've certainly used the classic 3 violins and some of the other string sounds, cellos in particular, with bigger reverb. So I should, I didn't even try the violin with a huge reverb. I'm going to save that for a different jam. Okay, in the words of that great rock documentarian, Marty DeBurge, enough of my yakking, let's boogie. couple of bum notes here and there, timing wavered, but when I'm not doing these long ambient notes with the reverb, that's kind of what you end up with. Oftentimes my skill level does not meet the same level that my ideas might have, but this is an improv, it's a jam. I hit record and I just do it. So I'm not sitting here recording over and over again to get a perfect performance. So for this video, because I was using a Violin Solo, I just felt like getting in more of an English folk rock vein. Fairport Convention, essentially Dave Swarbrick. Sounded nothing like Dave Swarbrick, but that was the attitude I was trying to approach it at. So I came up with the head, which we use in the intro and the outro, quickly went into the Coda from a traditional song, Matty Groves, that Fairport did all through their career and still do. That Coda is actually a different traditional reel jig, but I'll have to look up and find out what the name of it is if I can. You'll find that in the comments. Also, I did hit on a couple of King Crimson quotes, so this was a bit of a mashup. A little different, not very ambient, but I had a lot of fun, so that's really the bottom line. If it's not fun, it's really not worth doing with music, unless you're getting paid a lot of money, and then it doesn't have to be so much fun. Anyways, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and good luck with your own music.